you doing? This is Pete at Southwest Riding Custom, and just like our coupe, we got our Vicky completely wired up. And what we got to do now on the Vicky is we got to install the headliner panel, which is over here. Okay. And we also got to install our bulkhead. Now I call this a bulkhead because it's a big bulkhead. So we got to cut out all the window openings on that. But before we install this, the headliner panel's got to come over here on the Vicky. Okay, what the Vicky is, it's a little bit more tricky than the coupe. Now the reason I say that, when you get your kit, you're going to see that you got your round solid stock here, okay, for your frame structure that ties into your 2x2 square tubing and so forth. So if you look back here to install the headliner panel, it's got the angle iron already, comes with the kit. But on the front half of the car right here, you don't have nothing to tie it into. So what I do is I get some 1x1 angle, and the reason I use angle iron is so I can move it up and down to the level that I want. And I went ahead and welded 3 pieces, which are 4 inches long on each side. I put 2 4-inchers on the front and then a 6-inch on the middle of that. So that way I got something to tie all my headliner shell in. Now, to put the headliner panel in properly, you have to cut it in half. It will not fit in there. You cannot get it inside the car. So what you want to do is you want to measure from the windshield opening. So once all that's installed, what you got to do is you got to measure out your panel just like I told you. And my measurement came out to 33 1/4 inches. So I went ahead and measured it out and I drew a straight line. Now to saw that properly, you're going to have proper eyewear for one. You're going to have a good respirator because we don't want to be breathing in all that fiberglass dust. And you also have to have a nice good saw to cut that out with. Now I use an air saw. You can use a jigsaw or whatever you got. I don't recommend cutoff wheels. Okay, little air grinder cutoff wheels, due to the fact that the dust is so fine particle. If you're not wearing a respirator, that can really damage your lungs, because this is actually glass that you're breathing in. It's not just dust. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, and this will be ready to install, but we're not ready to install it yet. Now, we got our 2 halves that are cut in half, so those are ready to install. Before we install it though, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and insulate that with some type of insulation. Now what I use, if you come over here, what I use, okay, is I use 3-inch fiberglass house insulation. And you can buy this at your local hardware store. You know, that's $11, and it will do your whole car what you need to do to it. So what we do is we go ahead and unroll that. Now this is a special type of insulation I use. This is fiberglass insulation, but it's also covered with plastic. So what we want to do is on the ends of it, we want to go ahead and tape that up with duct tape, because we don't want that to fall out of the car or later on down the line, or we don't want it to get all, you know, flimsy and fragile and start messing up on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the whole roof, the length of the roof, and I'm looking like it's going to be about 73 inches, 72 inches. And then it looks like it's going to be 4 feet. So we need to make enough strips 72 inches long, and it looks like it's going to be four strips. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that out, just like that. And then I'm going to measure approximately 72 inches. I'm going to cut out 4 strips at 72 inches. And I like to make them just a little bit bigger because that way it's going to stuff itself up in there and it's going to hold real tight. What we want to do is we want to take our duct tape and we want to duct tape the ends off so the insulation will be sealed in a plastic housing. Kind of push that back in there just a hair. Plastic where it goes. Then you want to duct tape that up just like this. Does that make sense, cameraman?
Yeah.
Camera woman? Alright, once you get everything tied up, now you can use any insulation you want, but this is the best kind because it's all inside place. You ain't going to get fiberglass all over you. Plus, it's going to be nice, neat, and clean. And this is what's going to make our car nice and soundproof. So, we take our insulation, we come over here to the car. Start feeding the insulation up and try to be careful not to hook it on anything. And then feed it through here just like so. Okay? And as you see, it'll start laying up there by itself. Just like that. Tuck it up in there. Get it all in there just like so. Let me get another one. Where'd it go? And this is 3-inch thick insulation, and as I'm putting this in, I don't know if you can hear the difference just by putting this in. I can hear that the car is more soundproof just from putting the insulation in. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Camera girl.
Yes, I can.
It sounds like the sound has already been deadened just by putting those 2 sheets in. And it looks like we're only going to need 3 sheets of this, not 4, so that's good. We'll be able to use the rest of that on our car itself. Go ahead and try to tuck this up in here. I want to push it like that. Stick it up in here, just like so. All the inner structure of our car will be insulated really nice with this, and it's going to make for a nice, solid, quiet sound. This is the cheapest, inexpensive way to insulate your car. You have to insulate between the roof and the headliner panel. And if you don't do that, your car is going to be so loud inside, you're going to have so much road noise that it won't even be a comfortable drive. Now we're also going to insulate all the walls. We're going to insulate down inside here, all the way around the inner fender wells. Everywhere's going to be insulated that could possibly insulate it with the 3-inch plastic covered house insulation. Now, I'm going to go ahead and install the front panel. And one more thing you want